Rolling, rolling, rolling.
On a rail.
No. Welcome to another episode of Let's Rewatch, the show where we watch movies we loved in our youth and see if they're actually still any good. I'm Nick.
I'm Bret.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ash. Merry Christmas.
Oh, it's Christmas time.
Happy Christmas times and holidays and all the jello and the pudding.
And Ash is high on Christmas cookies
Yeah.
and spirit.
We have a special Christmas guest, Omar Najam.
Hi, how's it going, everyone?
Hey there.
Hello.
You may know Omar from the Sunnydale Study Group podcast.
Yep,
and
that's right.
various filmmaking projects. Welcome
Random
to the show.
videos online, yeah. Thank you for having me, guys. And you're having me for this film, too. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
And so, well, let's talk about you before we talk about the film.
Okay, fair enough.
So you do so Sunnydale Study Group is a Buffy podcast, which
Yes.
you do with Holland Farkas, who's been on our show before.
Yeah, previous guest of the podcast, Holland Vargas.
Which episode did Holland?
Holland did the one.
Independence
July.
Day.
Yeah, when I was in
Day.
Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have to have her back and do Spice Girls. It was-
No, I don't want to watch that again. I think
Oh,
I was for it, but I don't know. I can't.
All right.
I don't
we
wanna
can
watch
watch
it
something
ever.
else.
I kind of want to watch it.
What holiday would Spice World be tied into?
I don't know. That's a
Okay.
good question. Yeah.
Can we just
Veterans Day.
compromise with Mean Girls?
Yeah. Mean Girls is good.
Yeah, I would do Mean Girls.
Well, there's also a specific day, right? For
Yes. Mean Girls,
so
we
that works
missed. October 4th
Yeah.
is the Mean Girls Day.
Why is that Mean Girls
Because she
Day?
leans forward and she says, "What day is it?" And he says, "It's October 4th." And apparently, Mean Girls fans get really excited.
That's like
on
the Mean
October
Girls
4th.
Day.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we missed it this year. So I put it in the pocket for next
Well, if we're
year.
playing that
Okay.
game, then we need to do Back to the Future for November 5th.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Oh.
Yes.
Like, there's,
Well-
there's a few like that.
Don't go to Europe so we can.
Well, I can't do that for you.
We should calendar these things.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Planning ahead
I know.
is for wimps.
As our fans know, we don't plan ahead very well, usually.
So how is Sunnydale Study Group going? Are you doing one episode per show? Is that the deal?
Yeah, so we are hopping between Angel and Buffy currently.
Oh, okay.
And so
Is that because they were on the air at the same time?
Yes.
So you're playing that game.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there's like sort of an order that you should stick to.
Okay.
And because there's like crossover episodes and stuff. So
Yeah.
we're within that realm. But if you're like expecting it to be like on the air dates, it's like, no, we're
Yeah.
totally off.
So are you? Is there like a wiki for this? Like, here's the approved Buffy
Viewing.
Angel viewing
We
list.
have a list called the Chris Bramante list of angel watching list or something like really convoluted. It's
The list of watching
somewhere.
list.
The list of watching list by Chris Bramante's lists of watching. And it's somewhere. So
That's what the internet's
It sounds
for.
like you just show up, right?
Right, I'm just
Yeah.
like, Chris, which one are we watching
There
today?
you go. Yeah.
So Chris is the third person on the
Exactly,
show. Okay.
yeah.
Excellent. And so you're also a filmmaker.
Yes,
You were
yes.
telling us about your fake trailers project that you did for
Yeah,
Halloween.
which at this point was a few months ago, which is perfect actually because I think that I was a few behind. So by the time that this goes up, all of them should exist.
Excellent.
Which is very important. And I run a festival called 13 Days, 13 Shorts at the end of October, where the last 13 days each get a theme, and then people just make art inspired by it, and it goes online.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a cool idea.
Thank you so much. It's a lot
Every
of
year
fun.
I'm like, I want to do this. And I'm always like, I'm too busy. But this is cool.
October is the busiest month.
Yeah.
Because we don't plan for it. I feel like everyone thinks that December is going to be busy, so we're just like, oh, let's not do a bunch of crazy things. But in October, everyone's like, I'll watch 31 horror movies. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
That's a lot of movies.
Yeah. And then also go to like a party like every night and like do like
Yeah.
50 costumes. And so,
Yeah.
and so my goal was to shoot 13 fake trailers. And by now, hopefully, I should have done it.
So is this like the beginning of what's the movie?
Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
Tropic
yeah,
Thunder.
yeah.
The fake trailers in front of Tropic
Exactly.
Thunder. Okay.
So
like
good.
Booty Sweat and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're all like I would
Oh,
say booty
God.
sweat adjacent.
That's the one you remember?
Well, because I used to work with somebody who was always talking about Booty Sweat.
Why?
Because it's funny.
I would say that mine are definitely along the line of the Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
Tobey Maguire.
Yes, that's
Okay.
my favorite one
Where
too.
you're just like, what
so
genre
good.
were you going for here, pal? Like that's
Okay.
all of my trailers are just like, oh, okay.
And how are we getting to these?
In terms of watching them,
Yeah.
you can visit my Instagram, which is Omar Najam Film.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Excellent.
And
I
are they
want to
also
watch
on?
these.
I saw the trailer for like the
Oh, actually-
setup on Two Broke Geeks.
Oh
your
yeah, I
YouTube
posted
channel.
some stuff on Two Broke Geeks.
Yeah. But I didn't see the actual films. on
Yeah,
there.
now that I think about it, actually, because Instagram chops stuff at a minute. So also, if you search hashtag 13 days 13 trailers, if I did my job right, that should show up.
Okay.
Well, between the time we record this and publish this,
you have a
I'm
chance.
gonna,
You've got that,
If
yeah.
Twitter gives us an edit button by this time,
Oof.
I will have fixed all of my problems.
Oh, if only there was an edit button. So many times I'm like, oops, delete, retweet.
yeah, you can delete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a long, like emotional chain about making the world better, and then you realize like you have 5 typos. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, should I delete the sentiment?
And that's the thing everyone's going to
Yeah,
comment
everyone's
on.
like, we should have peace. It's peace, not peace. Oh, you're right.
Welcome to the internet. So we are doing a Christmas classic. We're going to be watching Gremlins from 1984.
Yep, won the poll.
So this was on a poll with what movies now?
So we had
So you, audience, chose this movie, and I want to say thank you because this is the one I wanted to watch.
Nick is very excited.
Home Alone.
Oh.
You let
Wait, did
me
Home
down.
Alone lose
Yes.
in a poll to Gremlins?
Barely.
Yes.
Yes. I was surprised too. So Gremlins was on the list, which won at 45%. Edward Scissorhands had the least at 9%.
That's surprising.
I know. I was surprised. Love Actually got 11%, and
Also
then
surprising.
Home Alone at 35%. Which I don't know if you guys saw the poll, but I really love the little like emoji dude that I used for Home Alone.
Now, you guys say this is surprising and disappointing, but I would say these were all extremely strong candidates.
Oh,
Yes.
So
well,
it's-
I just found it surprising that Edward Scissor like.
I think maybe it's because we're all collectively done with Johnny Depp.
Maybe.
Oh, that
that's
makes
a
total
good point.
sense.
Yeah.
Even
You
on a
mean-
subconscious level.
You mean the human race?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not done with Johnny Depp.
Really?
Well, that makes sense. You're not one of us.
Wait, why? I'm so confused.
I think that Johnny Depp is one of the most superb actors, but he is kind of a weird dude in real life. So I can understand the fatigue.
no,
But
no.
I
Not
dig this
just a
guy.
weird dude.
He's
a wife beater.
Yeah, that's exactly
Oh,
what
is
I
there
was gonna
another
say.
piece of information? that's
Everyone you love is a monster, Nick.
It's moving too fast. I can't keep up.
Okay.
This is like one of the older ones.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, this was
This is like a
several months
year-
ago
I
or
missed
more.
this.
Yeah.
Over a year ago, I thought.
He
Yeah, she
beat
was like-
his wife. She had a black eye, and
Yeah.
she filed for divorce. And
and everyone was like, maybe she's not telling the truth.
yeah, this was
That's
before the
before-
whole
yeah.
sexual harassment thing. Just to show you how crazy different time was just a couple of months ago.
Before
you know?
we realized that women tell the truth sometimes.
You know, it's something that I've been bracing myself for, thinking like, all right, this Weinstein stuff is breaking, and like, there's some really dirty people, and I'm like, people I love are going to come out at some point. Have you guys heard about the accusation against George Takei?
Yeah.
No.
Gut
What?
punch.
Yeah.
Now
What?
It's bad too.
this is the one where I believe that, you know, George is denying it, and I believe him. But it's difficult. Like, you have to remember, innocent until proven guilty. This is one accusation, where so many of the others, it's like, oh, well, that
Multiple
was 5
people.
accusations. That's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I also can see how you would want to believe George Takei because he's been such a nice public guy, but he might be just like a George Takosby.
Ooh.
And he certainly could be, but you
Trademark,
are obligated. You are obligated to assume innocence until proven guilty. Now, when there are 5 accusers,
the
it's
court
hard
is
to assume.
obligated. I think
But the
court
thing
is-
is-
yeah.
It's
Right.
hard to the only problem with that is it's hard to prove like some of these sexual harassment
Certainly.
accusations are like from years ago, and it's hard to prove that. Like, how do you?
Yeah, who's innocent?
Oh, I recognize the big gross mess this is. I do not want to defend people who have assaulted people sexually, but it's very easy to throw an accusation and destroy somebody.
Yeah.
So
true.
I want to recognize that angle of it. But at the same time, there are clearly a lot of really gross people
The thing
that we're
was-
learning about now.
thing that was crazy about Louis C.K. is that I believe it was Iffy who was on our podcast or on Let's Drink.
Yeah, people kind of knew about it.
Who was
Who knew
talking
about it, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
we
I have
knew
several
about
comedy
it.
friends who have told me those stories
I've
before
heard
about
those
him.
firsthand.
But
those
here's the thing
stories.
about Louis. He recognized it, he admitted it, and published an apology. And that does
except-
not erase it, but it's a hell of a lot better than all of these people who keep denying it when you know that it happened.
I agree, except for the apology. He never said, "I am sorry." If you go back
Yeah.
and read it, he never said, "I am sorry." I
Just
do
said
think
this is true.
Yeah, I do think he recognized it, which I do like agree.
it's
Like,
better than a Spacey. a
yeah,
lot better than a Spacey.
totally.
I think I'm stealing some random Twitter user's hot take on it, but it was also like, now that this has financially impacted me, I'm very sorry.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it
the
could
thing.
be.
I was talking to Bryce about it, and Bryce was like, "Why is anyone surprised? He literally talks about this in his stand-up all the time.
Yeah.
Like he says this all the time. Like we all knew he was a horrible person. We just laughed along with it.
Yeah.
You know."
It's weird to like put yourself back into a mindset. Like, I don't know. It's been very strange, like living in Los Angeles and like working in the entertainment industry to like realize how much it got normalized in my head too, of just hearing these terrible things all the time. Because like when the Weinstein news broke, my mom called me and she was like, "Are you okay about this?" And I was just like, "I mean, we all know." And she's like, "Well, that's not good." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're right. Oh God."
We all knew that a big movie producer was manipulating women.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily put the Weinstein name on it, but we knew that person existed.
Yeah.
So this idea is so prevalent that when we went to Europe, the gelato boy was like, "Oh, I have trouble making it in the industry."
Gelato
Wow,
boy.
you just reduced him to Gelato Boy.
Gelato
Yeah.
boy. His new hit single, Gelato
Yeah.
boy.
It's he deserves it. It's fine. He was like, "Yeah, the girls just get to like sleep with the directors and they get roles." And like he
Yeah.
looked at it as like a thing that was impacting him negatively. And we're like,
International truism.
yeah, we're like, "Oh, okay, this is bad."
I've heard that from guys, and there's a lot there, but also I'm just like
What, resentment from guys because they can't get ahead because they can't just sleep with the
I've
director?
heard that a lot, and I've been like, but
Wow.
also I believe very much in a meritocracy, and also like if I'm dealing with stuff on a film basis, I believe it should be completely professional and very safe, and I feel like mixing personal and business gets really icky as we're finding out.
Quid pro quo.
Right. yeah. Like if you're doing business stuff, keep it professional. That's what I believe. But also when I hear guys are just like, but I can't do that. I'm like, but also if you wanted to, like you could.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
You'll never make it.
I don't
in
know
this
where you're
town.
drawing the line here. But I don't want to get too much into that or make jokes about it because it's
Yeah.
pretty terrible.
So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, so Gremlins. So this kids movie.
Yeah, I totally wanted this to be a debate about how Die Hard is or is not a Christmas movie.
Okay.
We just went
We-
to a dark
we-
place
We can
here.
talk about that.
Okay, first off, for once and for all, Twitter people, Die Hard was on the list, just so you know. But we took it off the
But it was on the
poll.
poll.
Yeah, it was going to be on the poll, but we took it off the poll because we figured it would blow all the other movies out of the water. So we
Which
wanted
is
to give them a
Clearly
chance.
what was confirmed.
Yes.
On Twitter.
Because I got so much shit from Twitter people being like, Die Hard, why isn't Die Hard on here? Die Hard. If
Which
you don't
I
think
don't
Die Hard's a
understand.
Christmas movie, you're wrong. Die Hard.
Nobody said like these are the only 4 Christmas movies.
No.
Like nobody said that.
And we're cutting it off.
Why didn't you get like Santa Claus tweets? Like
No White Christmas,
you know,
no 34th.
Yeah. Like why are
That's true.
yeah,
Santa Claus.
Why are
That's a
people
great one.
so coming out swinging because one specific movie wasn't
It's
on the
because
list?
it's controversial, because it's not a Christmas movie.
Which I thought we were all in general agreement as the human race that it was a Christmas movie,
But
but
Sam is
apparently
not.
Sam, you've got
Okay,
an issue.
okay.
Here we
with
go,
that?
Sam.
A Christmas movie is a movie that embodies the Christmas spirit.
Okay.
What is the spirit of Die Hard?
Man, there's a lot of spirits in Die Hard.
And it's not Christmas! Christmas is not one of them! There's a lot of spirits, and Christmas is not the spirit of Die Hard. That's why it's not a Christmas movie.
I mean, isn't Christmas about how Jesus saved us all? And isn't Die Hard about how what's his name saved us all?
Yeah.
Are you freaking saying
I'm
that
forgetting
it's
his
the story
character
of
name.
Jesus?
Yeah, you know he saved us from.
So Jesus like walked around with guns and shit and like broke people's
went
necks.
to Nakatomi Plaza and they
know-
wouldn't take him in, but he ended up sneaking in.
Hey, I'd go to church if there was. No, I'm just kidding.
The Church of Die
The
Hard.
Church of Die Hard. Yeah.
I agree with you that I
Yes!
don't believe
Oh.
it's a Christmas
Oh
movie.
man.
It takes
it's
place
a movie that takes place during Christmas.
Yes. Yeah.
There is fire in Nick's eyes.
No, I see the logic, but I don't completely agree with it.
That's such a nice way of saying you're wrong.
Here's another.
I'm just having a
aspect.
difficulty finding another example. But if a movie just takes place during a certain time period, does it not become
Like I Live About a
related to
Boy.
that time period?
I watch it during Christmas, but I just don't think it's a full Christmas movie because it's like even though it ends with like you should have family over, I'm like, yeah, but that's not like a Christmas specific. That's a general anytime lesson that I can watch throughout the year.
Yep. Here's another aspect besides the whole spirit. When it comes Christmas time, are you like, this is the time that I watch Die Hard?
I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
Only at Christmas time?
Well, no.
Always at Christmas time.
Yeah.
They're not.
I'll
mutually
say it this way:
exclusive events.
Christmas time is when I like to have chocolate candies, and also the rest of the year. Right? I mean, yeah, Die Hard is a great movie
Yeah.
to watch anytime. Do you only watch Home Alone at Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah, I only remember Home Alone at Christmas. Actually,
I think it's a thing, and maybe this is great because you guys are now like establishing like genre rules. And this is what I went to school for. Like this is amazing. So let's talk about ontology really quickly. So if you get a weird feeling watching a movie anytime outside of Christmas, does that make it a Christmas movie?
That's a good
Right?
way
Where
to.
you're just like, this is like it's like you're into
Like,
March
it
and you're
feels
like, this is
wrong.
wrong. Like it's a
Yeah.
Christmas tree up in like February, and you're like, guys.
So
Yeah.
what about Nightmare Before Christmas? Because the problem I have with Nightmare Before Christmas is it's neither quite a Christmas movie / quite.
I would classify that as a
Halloween movie.
problem. I would
It's
classify that as an
transcendent.
interesting thing they did with
But
the
like
movie.
I can, well, yeah. But I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying I feel like I can watch Nightmare Before Christmas whenever.
Yeah.
But I would also say that it's a Christmas movie.
So I feel weird not watching it or watching it not during
Not during-
Halloween.
Oh, okay.
If I'm watching it in
That's
March
true.
and just like, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I need to save the sweet treat
Yeah.
for later on.
What
in
am
the
I
year.
doing? Yeah.
Totally.
I think we've talked about the movie Toys, which you guys haven't seen or don't remember.
Correct.
Right.
So it's not really worth talking about, but it's kind of bookend with Christmas, but the whole movie isn't Christmassy.
That's a great example.
And I
yeah.
feel like I feel like I can watch it at any time, but I definitely
Yeah.
get a Christmas hit from it when I
So
see
what
it.
about Gremlins though? Because like I feel like Gremlins
never
doesn't
That's a good
actually
point.
feel like a super
We're about to break the
Christmas
game, aren't we?
movie.
I think Gremlins hits
Breaking our own rules.
Gremlins falls whatever context that Die Hard falls into.
this
Oh man, guys, I've never seen it.
This is
You promised me a Christmas movie.
Well, we'll get
Maybe-
your judgment.
Well, Christmas does happen.
I mean, is it Chris? Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa. I don't mean like in life, Omar.
We're really breaking the game here. Okay, it's a huge component. Maybe we'll have to find out from like if you'll feel comfortable watching this movie in a few months.
Okay.
That makes it the best case scenario for this conversation.
Yes, because
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
feel like it's a Christmas movie, then Die Hard is a Christmas
All right.
movie.
So what else was
Way
This
to
is
earmark
a little unfair because I
into the
have
bill.
raising the stakes. But now you're gonna purposely
least-
not think it's a Christmas movie.
now you know what the stakes are.
objective.
What else was on the
Right.
poll? Home Alone.
Alone.
Are we saying for sure that's about a Christmas
Definitely.
thing?
Yes.
Home Alone, yeah.
I
Home Alone's
vote
very
Christmas movie.
And was it
Yeah.
Love Actually?
which 100%.
Is it?
100%.
See, I'll say I don't
movie.
remember it as well.
It's
Okay.
it's right.
It's like the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
movie. is like Christmas is
Is
when you tell the
Christmas.
truth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
That's
they
like
say
the
that, like,
moral
every
of the
2
story.
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the whole plot line revolves around this Christmas play and like Christmas gifts and
Although I have a theory that movie was not a Christmas movie originally. It was
Yeah.
7 separate non-Christmas stories, and they were just like, it makes sense if they're all during Christmas.
Yeah. They're like, these all suck by themselves, but if we put them together.
Like he goes to Portugal. Like, let's just say that he's like on vacation. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, great.
All right, so we got us a
being
ball game.
set in Christmas add some sort of like moral relevancy to the stories of that
no,
movie?
it gives you warm fuzzies. Christmas.
Here's something about, and I know that you guys will probably touch on Love Actually stuff later, so I don't want to get too much into it.
Yeah.
Love Actually is a movie that I only saw recently, maybe last year for the first time. And people talked it up for forever, and I had friends who proposed with like the card stuff and everything. So I was like, this movie is going to break me. It's going to like notebook me. And I watched it, and it did it because I was like expecting, and also like security at the airport, super lax. I was very uncomfortable about that.
Oh, I know,
Like
right?
this kid just runs onto
It's
like
a
the
different
plane,
time.
and I was like,
They're waiting at the gate. What?
but it's like a post, and it's specifically a post 9/11 movie. Like they talk about
Is it?
9/11, and then this kid like rushes an airport security gate, and I'm like, "Look, kid, not now."
Well,
But
Britain didn't quite lose their shit the way we did.
that's
Yeah,
true. You know what?
yeah.
That's so right. They were probably just like, "Yeah, just everyone
Except
chill out."
now their airport security is way tighter than
Oh,
ours.
everybody caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it was
took a
because
few
of Love
years.
Actually. They're like, if that kid, if
Yeah.
Liam Neeson's kid,
If that kid had
That
a
kid's
bomb,
a terrorist
drummer
threat.
kid can so easily. But then it was a thing where I was like, this movie makes no sense. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's insane. I love it. I love this movie. Oh my God. I really like
This was your emotional arc while watching
and it happened
it.
in like 2 minutes where I was like, what did I watch? I want to watch it again.
Yeah, it's so good.
I had that same experience when one time I walked into a Boston market and
The story could end right there.
and it gets better because all of the tables in this Boston market were people playing Scrabble. Mm-hmm. And I walked in and it's clearly like a thing at this Boston market. And I had that whole arc. I was like, what is this? What is this stupidity? What is this dumb thing? This is kind of awesome. This is great. I want to play Scrabble. Like I had that whole evolution right there.
That's
Yeah.
where can I ask what general region this Boston market was in?
Poof. Yeah, either Virginia or California. I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I'm going to say Silicon Valley.
There were a lot of white people involved. Either way.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to find this Boston market. 'Cause
Scrabble
I'm from
does-
San Jose, so
Okay. Yeah.
You're from San Jose? That's where I was
Yeah, it
born.
might have been Palo Alto.
That sounds like a Palo Alto.
All right, so we got us a ball game on
My goodness.
what
So many
makes
emotions.
a Christmas movie.
What makes a Christmas movie?
I'm so curious as to hear. This is like a case study.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So let's
so important.
You got your little detective hat on. You're
Yeah.
so excited.
I'm ready to take notes.
let's talk briefly about our filmmakers. And quick question for you guys: is Joe Dante a big deal?
Who dat?
To
Who's
me,
that?
yes,
Okay,
because Erie,
I
Indiana.
I feel like he should be, but then I was thinking, do people really know and think about Joe Dante? And Sam, you just
I'm shaking my head.
Because Spielberg kind of overshadowed Joe Dante's
he was one of
directing.
Spielberg's guys, along
When
with
Spielberg was having a
Zemeckis.
kid, I believe, when he was having Max, and so he was like, I can't be on set, so I'm going to make Joe Dante make my movies.
Okay.
I read a Spielberg
Interesting.
book recently, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. He was like, I
Interesting.
can't go to the movies.
So he started with Piranha in '78.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
He did a few episodes of Police Squad. Explorers was a great movie. Inner Space, which I really want to do on this show.
Oh, yeah.
And lately he's been doing episodes of Hawaii Five-0. So yeah, I think he's done some pretty big stuff, but maybe not as memorable as some of the other people we've talked about.
Was Poltergeist his?
No.
No, that was Tobey Hooper.
Okay.
But then Spielberg stepped in and kind of stole it from
That's
him,
what it was.
but
Yeah.
left his name on it. Yeah.
That's right.
That was a weird one.
Oh, God. That's,
Wait, Spielberg left the other director's name on it?
Yeah, he didn't take credit, but Spielberg totally directed it.
Wow.
Like they were not happy with what Tobey Hooper was doing. That's the story.
Yeah, because I've always heard that Spielberg directed that film.
Yeah, but it says Tobey Hooper
You
on the
heard right.
box.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Phoebe Cates is in this. and I always talk about how much I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This was the same year as Fast Times.
What?
Wow.
So the same Phoebe Cates. Yeah. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This was Gremlins was 84. Fast Times was 82. So close.
Wow.
Sam, Ash, are you guys big fans of Drop Dead Fred? That seems like a movie you guys would be into.
want
man.
to see that movie, and
Haven't seen it.
that movie.
That seems like something you guys would be all goo-goo over.
I do want to see it. I haven't seen it,
Okay.
and that was the movie when we had Matt Young on from Hello from the Magic Tavern.
Okay.
That was the movie I think he chose, but we couldn't. All you can do is like buy the DVD. Like that's the only way you can see the film, and it's like really hard to find. So I've never seen this movie, but I
Okay.
really want to see it.
That would be the other big Phoebe Cates movie.
Oh, it's a cute movie about like an imaginary friend.
Aw.
See, yeah, we would love it.
And I feel like it's just like,
Our ovaries would like spill
tiny-
everywhere.
I feel like it's a tiny bit Beetlejuicy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tiny
Yeah, a
bit.
little bit.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
It
down.
looks. I was in a bar once and I saw like clips of it, and I was like, "This looks like my jam."
Oh, what a bar film.
I know,
Yeah.
weird, right?
Like that and Pee-wee are just like great, like background bar films.
So Corey Feldman, who we've seen in The Goonies and Stand By Me,
And
Wait, this is the weird one, right? The weird Corey. Well, he's weird now. The one in the
compared
band.
to Corey Haim. I guess I guess Corey
He's
Feldman
not
is
the
a little.
craziest Corey, though. Right?
Who's the one with the band that's just awful now?
I think that's Corey Feldman.
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
the weird one.
Yeah.
And that links us back to the other conversation, but Corey Feldman is working on a documentary about the sexual predators in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Specifically pedophiles. Oh. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with that in the next year. But I think Corey Feldman was a guy we loved when we and he were kids. And as he's grown up, he's kind of spun
also,
in a weird direction.
So have we.
Fair enough. So let's keep an eye out for Judge Reinhold. And I don't even remember, but
Judge Reinhold.
apparently Jonathan Banks is in this.
No.
Yeah.
What?
So keep an eye out.
Who's that again?
The older guy, the enforcer sort of guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh my God, I know what scene he's in.
Okay.
It just popped back in my head.
I'm not describing him very well. You know, he works for Saul,
Ash's
the lawyer.
face is so great right
He
now.
gets shot.
Okay, he was season 5 of Community.
oh,
He draws
The guy from
stuff.
Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot he was in Breaking Bad. It's been a really long time since I've seen
He was
Breaking
a
Bad.
huge part of Breaking Bad. And he's huge in Better Call Saul, which I know you haven't watched, but he's
Yeah.
super good in it.
He's in a car, and he's in the car.
He's in a car. All right. And I think,
Right.
so Zach Galligan is the star here, but he never did anything that we would know after. But Howie Mandel is the voice.
Oh, wow.
He totally is.
What?
Yeah. Which would have been around the same time he was doing the Bobby character in his stand-up. So if you get Bobby's voice, like Bobby's World, that cartoon character,
Yeah.
get that voice in your head, and Gizmo.
No
Same
way.
voice.
And
Yeah.
they
Wow.
look similar too, a little bit. I mean, one
Big
has
cute
fur.
eyes. So what are we expecting?
So what do children look like to you?
You don't feed them after midnight.
Oh man, I hadn't really thought this
get
is a
them
movie
wet.
with rules.
Yeah.
And we always talk about how much I love rules. This is like the rules movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
This
why-
is the rules movie.
Yeah.
That's why I put a little water droplet next to Gremlins for the
Oh,
poll
yeah.
for this one. I
That was
don't know.
good.
So what are you expecting, Brett?
Well,
You just went into like the fetal position.
Brett Scurd.
This is one of those movies that is in the category of movies where it blends together with several other movies.
My feelings are similar.
And not even of this series, just like random other movies. Like
Like, do you remember the dinosaur one that was really similar to this one?
or like Tremors. Like I feel like this
Yeah.
is like
Dinosaur
a
one.
The one where the dinosaurs
Yeah,
were
the little
real, but they were little
dinosaurs.
dinosaur
Yeah,
toys. And
yeah,
the dad
yeah.
was like, those are just toys. And he was like a 90s dad, right?
Yes. I always get this movie and that movie confused.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I want to see this movie.
It's like the
It's
most
really good.
It's like blank check, but instead of a check, it's dinosaurs. Like
Yeah.
someone like hits a kid with a car and is like, "Here's 3 dinosaurs." I mean,
Okay,
that's not the exact plot, but
You mentioned Blank Check, which means we will have to have
really,
you
really
back
wanna watch
because
Blank
Brett
Check.
really wants to watch Blank
oh
Check.
boy,
I really want to watch
oh
it.
it's not child friendly. It's like
you. That's
so
what I'm trying to
inappropriate. And I can't wait to talk about it.
So anyway, sorry, Brett. We
I remember a
sidetracked.
lot about Blank Check.
Great.
Yeah.
We have to do it. I'm so excited. I'm like shaking.
All right, we
yeah.
derailed you. Sorry, Brett.
Oh yeah, no. So, yeah, I get this confused with like Tremors and like I don't know why.
Pretty different.
And there's like, and then the sequels for this, which I feel like are
I think there's only one sequel.
there's only one. Is it more like violent than this one?
It is off the fucking chain. There is a fantastic Key and Peele sketch
And it's all true.
where he comes in and pitches what they're going to do for Gremlins 2. And if you haven't seen Gremlins 2, you're like, this is a weird 80s character. But if you've seen Gremlins 2, he is on point. It's like, we are putting that in the movie. It is amazing if you've seen Gremlins 2. Gremlins 2 is ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. So. I feel like I'm at the point of I don't really fucking know what to expect right
Okay.
now. I don't even remember the mood of this film. I just know that shit goes down with kids not being able to follow the rules. But
Okay.
that's all I got.
You had one job.
Yeah, right. And what and at what time does it become no longer after midnight?
Yeah, that was always
That's a good question.
that. Well, what if you cut off Wolverine's head? Like, fucking stop. These are things that we always talked about as children, and just yeah.
But what if you did?
So, Sam, you haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. I think it's some weird cross between Furbies and Tribbles. Tribbles.
Relatively accurate, I
Wow.
guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually,
Yeah.
completely accurate. I think there's going to be some scenes in the movie that you're going to be surprised by how right you are.
Now I'm thinking how awesome it would be to just beam a bunch of Mogwais onto a Klingon ship and just let them wreak havoc.
If you're in space, is it ever after midnight?
That was the original tagline.
Well, what if you cut off Wolverine's head in
Gremlins 3.
space? So that's it. You just don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
You've seen like pictures of them though, probably.
yeah.
Or like what happens if it reaches over 100% humidity outside, and then it's just
You mean rain? Are you describing rain?
sometimes
Like
it's
a flood.
not raining when it's. I don't know how that works.
Like at the Mogwai, or
Like
in
you're
Singapore, it would be
underwater.
like a huge
Is that
problem.
100% humidity?
I don't know. Our little barometer thing was like over 100%.
How are you over 100%?
I think
It
your
was
barometer's
hot and like
broken.
everything was wet here. It was like just the water
Is
was
100% not like water? Maybe 100% humidity.
Maybe
is
that's
like,
condensation.
Ooh, yeah.
That's dew point.
But how do you have more than 100%?
humidity is
Yeah.
dew point.
There's only 100%.
Why are we doing this right now?
But Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
So that's your.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be kind of cheesy 80s. I don't know if it will be good or not. I know it has like charm and people really like it, but I don't know if that's because it's a genuinely good movie or because that's an awesomely bad movie.
Okay.
A little bit of Colin May, a little bit of Colin B.
For me, this fits into a category, not that it runs together like Brett's saying, but there's a bunch of movies that I love passionately, but haven't seen in 15 to 20 years. I have watched Edward Scissorhands recently, but still it falls into that category, and I was most excited to watch this one because this is probably the one that I love the most with the most separation. So I'm curious to see.
Crazy.
I'm excited about the music because I think there's some just great music in this.
Oh boy, another music prediction.
Well, original score, not like songs that I'm going to get wrong. But yeah, really fun music
Nick
in this.
occasionally gets points about being right for music, but the ratio is very low.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I fully expect you guys to dump on it and hate the music, but I love it.
It's just like Inception horns, like the entire time.
But
What if Gremlins was a horror film?
isn't it?
Yeah, I guess. It's like a kid-friendly horror film.
But the one question I have in my head as we watch this is this racist?
Yeah.
So,
Oh no, I
about that.
forgot about the dude.
yeah. So, Ash, what are you expecting?
I think I saw this movie when I was a kid, but I didn't really remember a lot about it because I think I was pretty young. But a couple like 4 or 5 Christmases back, I went home for Christmas and I was staying at this hotel that my dad worked at. And so he would often like leave me stuff in the hotel room. So when I got there, you know, it's like, oh, there's a bottle of wine or there's some candy or whatever. Well, one time I
Left you
show
a
up.
bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, how
I'm
old
from,
are you?
I'm from Napa. You have to understand, wine is everywhere.
That's the coolest.
Yeah. So this one Christmas, I show up and he's got a DVD player hooked up to the TV and Gremlins. And I was like, oh, cool. I don't remember this movie. And so I watched it and I was like, this is a weird movie. And I don't want to say too much since Sam hasn't seen it, but I remember thinking like, this is not the best, but it's entertaining. It is entertaining.
Okay.
That's what I remember. So that's, I think it's gonna, I do remember a specific sequence that I looked up later and I was just like, it feels like the Key and Peele thing where it's like, they were just like, what if we had this sequence in here? All right, put it in the movie.
God, you got to watch the second movie. What if a gremlin turns into electricity? It's in the movie.
Oh yeah, did they like transform in the second one? Like,
It's
gets really
ridiculous. Yeah.
That's
It's
right.
like it's a Midnight Monster movie spin-off of Gremlins, and they acknowledge it in Gremlins. too.
Okay.
Right? Like they're just like there's like a guy who like hosts like a late.
Yeah, because it's like the public access TV broadcast. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay. So what are you expecting, Omar?
With a lot of these films, a lot of like the Spielberg adjacent films,
Spielberg adjacent.
Spielberg adjacent.
That's accurate.
Another great podcast name.
Spielberg adjacent.
You just talk about all the movies Spielberg didn't direct, but
Yeah.
it feels like
And
Spielberg
Looney Tunes.
movies. Yeah.
I remember all of those films being like normal. I was like, this is like what normal America is when I was a kid. And I was like, this is what I aspire to be when I grow up. And then later, consistently, I'm like, all these movies are actually really weird and are super stylistic.
Yeah.
And I thought this was like, that's what normal movies look like. Other movies are like stylistic.
That's interesting.
But I didn't realize like the Spielberg style that like a lot of these like directors under the umbrella were like impersonating, developing, and investigating. So I'm interested to see how much of that. I'm interested to see how much of the movie looks like a set. But as a kid, I was like, that's the town. Like,
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
town people live in. And I'll look at it and be like, that's Burbank.
Yeah.
And then I'm also similarly, I'm interested to see how much of the film is actually very inappropriate, racially insensitive, and also how many jokes I'm just now gonna like Adventures in Babysitting level of like, don't say that.
Yeah, we got to do that one too.
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
So I'm very, very interested. I'm very interested to see what I take away this time
Yeah. Excellent.
because I think I remember it well, but also I might just be thinking of Jumanji.
They all run together.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenon. All right, so we are going to pause recording. We're going to watch Gremlins from 1984, and we'll see if this thing is actually any good. Podcast. See, I told you the music was awesome, you guys. So let's address the elephant in the room. This movie took a lot from Stranger Things, Jurassic Park, E.T.
Completely
The 80s in general.
Yeah.
You know, we know that Stranger Things, like the point of Stranger Things is to take notes from all these movies, but I didn't realize how much came from this movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't either. Like the whole let's take it to our science teacher and
Let's keep it in a cage and feed it candy bars.
yeah, that was interesting.
Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good point. Because I've only seen half of Stranger Things too, so sorry.
Wow, Nick, and you're the
Yeah, I'm the one spoiler
hater.
Sorry. Edit that out, Brett.
I think that happens pretty early.
episode 3 or 4.
Is it? Is it that late in it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, actually
Yeah.
it says 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it shows up in 3 because we just watched 4.
Yeah, it shows up in 3.
So I think we should also address the elephant in the room that the aliens from Signs are totally Mogoys because water like
Makes them
destroys.
multiply?
Oh wait, never mind.
They're opposing
Sunshine.
alien races.
Yeah.
And as we saw, they are not they do not have a weakness to baseball bats.
Yeah.
They will fuck up a baseball bat.
Very slowly.
But Sam, is this a
But
Christmas movie?
Guys, I think it is.
Obviously.
Snap.
Okay.
And why?
Christmas is an integral part of the plot, and it is a common theme that while it gives it a horrific Christmas spirit, it does give it a Christmas spirit.
I think you need to watch Die Hard again. Because that applies to Die Hard.
And I would feel weird watching this not at Christmas. Christmas is such a big part of this
I can
movie.
make an argument for Halloween on this one.
Sure, because it's horror, but it's also like fall-ish time, like
Because it's like a close enough.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's not a springtime movie.
Yeah,
No.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Summer blockbuster.
Whereas like Die Hard, I've only seen it once.
I've only
And-
seen it once too.
And I forgot it was at Christmas time. That's how little Christmas played a role in it to me.
I mean, isn't the whole? I'm sorry to make this podcast about Die Hard, but isn't the only
be
thing?
Aren't all
clearly,
podcasts a little bit about Die Hard?
clearly that's what our fans wanted anyway. But isn't the only thing that has to do in Die Hard about Christmas is that it's like during a Christmas party, a work
Yeah.
Christmas
sorry,
party?
but no.
No, okay. I mean,
Well, 'cause,
I've
like-
only seen it once, so
I mean,
Trying to
it's
make it-
built around the Christmas party. He goes there during Christmas to see his ex-wife, and there's the whole. He has the gun taped to his back with the Christmas wrapping tape. Right?
integral.
okay, cool. I
There's that awesome Run DMC Christmas song in it.
What?
oh what?
When they're driving in the limo to Nakatomi Plaza, Argyle is listening to the Run DMC Christmas song.
Yeah, what's the
Come on,
song?
you guys. I'm not going to sing.
Come on.
Aw.
I don't know if I can even remember, but it's there.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now we
I was going to find it on my phone.
Yeah, let's scrap.
I'll have to look this up.
Yeah.
This will be my
Sucker.
new Christmas song.
Yeah.
Clearly, this movie was much more drippings with the Christmas.
They played multiple Christmas songs.
Yeah.
There were Christmas
One time
lights
it
all
was
over.
very hilariously appropriate too when she's like in the house alone and the Christmas song.
Yeah.
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 It's become that it's a requirement of a Christmas movie that in the Christmas movie, people are watching Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Like, how many Miracle on 34th Streets and It's a Wonderful Life clips do you see in Christmas movies?
It's the every shot of Paris has the Eiffel Tower of Christmas movies. Like,
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Also, though, I bet you that It's a Wonderful Life is the one that you see the most because it's public domain.
is it public domain?
So the only
That would
reason
really
why,
make sense.
yeah, the only reason why, fun fact, the only reason why It's a Wonderful Life is even associated as like this wonderful Christmas movie that we all come to know and love is just because it slipped into the public domain, and so every year the stations were like, we need stuff to put on,
And it's free.
and they would put it on because it's free. But when the movie was originally released, it actually was a bust and was not successful. It wasn't critically successful.
That's
so
like-
it's not. It's a well-known, considered a good movie, not because it is a good movie, just because it's been so replayed and replayed and replayed.
Well, you know, that's the
Yeah.
same reason why zombies are popular.
Yeah, because it slipped into the
legal
public
for
domain.
anybody to make their own zombie story. Nobody owns zombies, but Romero would have had they done what they should have done to maintain the copyright.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing happened.
you
Somebody forgot to like re-register the copyright for that movie, and then it just slipped into public domain.
Like I've made a lot of mistakes in my life.
But that's a big
like,
one.
Hey, did you remember to re-register zombies? Like, oh shoot.
For that one, it's a
holy
big deal.
smokes.
But like for It's a Wonderful Life, you're like, what? That shitty movie that nobody likes?
Right, you're like,
you know,
yeah,
you're like,
whatever,
whatever. And then it ends up being this movie that everyone thinks is like the
Know that I've
quintessential.
seen it.
I haven't seen it all the
that shit
way.
happens all the time, though. Like last year or the year before, somebody bought Google the domain because
No.
they didn't renew their own fucking domain.
Wow.
Well, it's like that episode in The League where Taco buys was it like Dallas Cowboys website or something.
That's
and they buy them
amazing.
off.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good way to make money
Yeah.
because
We
they
gotta
want their
keep
domain
an eye
back.
out for that. We gotta make like a top 50 list.
Well, you can can't you did this for one domain once, didn't you? Where you could put a thing where it'll let you know the second it slips out of
Oh yeah,
the
that's
thing,
how,
so you can snipe it.
That's how I bought. Yeah, we never did anything with it.
We never did
but I
anything
bought,
with it. Blackedoutdrunk.com.
blackedoutdrunk.com, yeah.
So we were gonna start this whole thing.
So you're saying you're a squatter?
Currently, well, Ash
Yeah.
is a squatter. I bought it for Ash.
Yeah, I
You
haven't
still
done
have it?
Do we still have it?
I think so.
Or
We
did
were gonna
another squatter?
have people send in photos of their friends when they're blacked out drunk.
It's gold.
Right? Like it's great.
Right
Or we were
so.
gonna make something else. I don't know, but we just never did anything with it. It just was such a catchy blacked out drunk.
Well, I like the idea of someone going to that website and there being nothing. I think that,
It's just black. It's just black.
Oh no, there's something there.
Just keep staring.
like,
Eventually,
what? Oh man, this movie is so great.
the
So
practical
movie.
effects were pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like stop motion that was so good, I did not remember it being stop motion.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
But
really
now
good.
I can kind of see it a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't
better.
remember it. I mean, you see it and you're like, oh, that's stop motion, but it was pretty seamless with the puppetry. Like they did a good job.
And they blended in with a live shot too, right? That's where she's like leaning in the kitchen doorway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Which makes you think when they first started thinking about Jurassic Park, why they would have gone with stop motion and puppets.
yeah,
Because they had the experience with it.
Can we go back and just really quick and tangent, because that scene in the kitchen is my favorite scene
Yes.
with
Oh
the
my
mother,
God, yes.
the
Oh, it's so
badass
good.
motherfucking mother who okay.
just mowing
she's a
through
motherfucking
Gremlins.
mother.
Motherfucking mother. But okay, I really want to see this movie remade, but I want the dark horror film version where she's having to
Like, she
claw
comes
her
out as the
way.
main character?
Yes,
Why is-
You want aliens.
I do, but with Gremlins,
Yes.
yeah.
Why? Like Billy shoves himself back into the narrative.
Yeah,
like,
he's so
forcefully, where he's like, Mom, why don't you
boring."
go stay with the doctor? I know that you took out 50 of them just now in the
Right?
most savage, awesome way possible.
Clearly, you're the most capable person
Yeah.
here, but you sit down.
But I got
and
Billy
one pretty
didn't-
good sword hit into the fireplace.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna
didn't
go
he
ahead.
only kill one? Everybody else kills all the other ones. I guess
Yeah.
he killed them in the theater, though.
But that was after this.
Yeah,
This is an extremely good point. You have two characters in the movie. One of them fucked up royally, causing the problem. The other was saving the entire town.
Yep.
yeah,
And she gets pushed aside.
yeah. I just find.
Now I'm angry about that.
Sorry, I think this is
I'm
the
the main
reason why
character.
I've never really attached to this film, because I just find Billy so boring.
He is a milquetoast character.
Yeah, and his girlfriend so boring.
No, she has a cool backstory. Well, sad backstory.
Sad backstory,
Dill
but but when it comes to killing them and stuff, they're not the action heroes I want.
I don't know. She had a pretty good idea with the Polaroid flash.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
And she
Except
was
there's only
serving them all
5
drinks.
flash cubes in there, so
Yeah, yeah. It's odd because, okay, my issue with those, not necessarily those characters, maybe specifically Billy, is that he doesn't feel like he's 22 or whatever he
No.
is. I always remembered him being 16 or something. And then he had to work this job at the bank. But then when Judge Reinhold is like, I'm going to turn 25 soon and I'm going to run this bank. And it's like, come on, you and me, and you're drinking a beer, so you're definitely over 21. I'm like, he should be a little bit more capable.
Yeah.
And I can understand a bank that has a young person working there,
Yeah.
but what bank is entirely staffed by 23-year-olds?
Yeah, it's like the Ally McBeal
little
bank of the
weird.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that was
she was-
a past thing though. Banks having competent people in them is a thing of the past decade.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all new.
But also, it was run by Scrooge McDuck, who would want the young people who are cheaper because they're new.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Who names her cats after money?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's Kopek and Dollar Bill.
Dollar bill.
Wow.
Her story's so interesting because you just get this little glimpse of her Havisham situation, and it's like, and for a second you're sympathetic. It's like a weird little like thing where you're like, oh wow, she's all by herself.
I love that they totally set her up to be the Scrooge character with the character arc, and at the end of the movie she would be handing out turkeys and shit.
Exactly.
Oh no, they just blast her
just
right out of the window.
Throw her out a window. That's so true. Where it's like she's about to learn her lesson. No, she's about to sit in a chair
Yeah.
and get lost.
I did remember loving that chair gag as a kid. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But she was definitely written as, what is it, Mrs. Gulch, the old lady in Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Who becomes the Wicked Witch. It was definitely a mix of Scrooge and that.
Attacking like the Toto and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. She even said, I'll get you, I think.
Yeah.
And I said, in your little dog too.
But she was saying it
But
to
she was
the
saying
little
it
dog.
to the dog, yeah.
I'll get you and
your dog's dog.
You also.
But it wasn't really so much of a like, I'll get you as a I'll fucking kill your dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love the guy in the bank. She's like, I'll put it in the dryer. And the guy's like, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, he's like on board.
I'd recommend throwing a sheet like a
Was this like marketed as a kids film? Because the whole time I'm just like, this shit, like, it's sometimes, I feel like part of the problem with this film, in my opinion, is there's like a serious tonal shifts. We go from hearing this girl's story about her dad dying dressed as Santa in the chimney to like the gremlin hitting his head, and we have like the Looney Tunes noise,
But
you know?
I don't think that actually is a shift, because that whole story she told was a hilarious joke.
Yeah, it was really good.
The way
What?
yeah, like it's this deep emotional story, but she ends it with, and that's when I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real.
Not like that's how my dad died.
hilarious.
Oh my God, Nick, that's horrible.
Come on, that was a great gag. I think it was totally
Because that's not how someone would end that story.
right. That's how I found out Santa Claus isn't real. Come on, that was hilarious.
Oh man, I didn't take that as a
Now-
joke at all.
Can we talk about Gremlins 2? Or
I think
are
we
you guys-
should, because I remember Gremlins 2 being the one that was completely unhinged.
But this
There was some stuff in this movie that was
It
unhinged.
was actually
Yeah.
an organic continuation of
Yeah.
this universe.
yeah.
Just taken to Wall Street or something, right? It's like a big city story.
It's a skyscraper, but it was also a TV production studio.
yeah, like they're
Something
renting
like
a
that.
floor.
Wait, was it like a Die Hard scenario where they're all in a
It was
big-
all in a building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it also
guess-
Christmas?
It all comes together.
I don't think it was Christmas.
But she has
I'm
like
not
a
sure.
story about President's Day, I believe. And she starts to tell it, and she's like, my dad used to dress with Abraham Lincoln's beard. And then
Oh,
the
that's
way
great.
they end it is they're just like, we don't have time for that. And they grab her and take her away. And it's like, it really just trashes on this scene where they're just
That's
like, yeah,
so
we know that you have
funny.
a terrible backstory about everyone. We got to go stop electricity in Googly Eye.
Yeah.
Gremlins right now.
I kind of want to see the Gremlins too
I
now.
do too. And watch the Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it does that thing where it creates a universe and stays true to that universe. Just really off the wall, ridiculous shit in that universe.
Yeah. I just mean like sometimes it felt like a kid's film. Sometimes it felt like a legit horror film. You know what I mean?
The 80s were really weird.
That's true.
I had RoboCop action figures.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good argument.
You know, they were completely disconnected over what should and should not be for kids.
Like
Yeah.
Beetlejuice, the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, you know that
Or-
guy that like grabs
Or, like-
grabs people without permission? Let's
Yeah.
make that into a cartoon.
Yeah,
Most
tries
of
to
the-
marry an underage girl.
Most
Yeah.
of the James Bond movies are PG. Like the
Oh, yeah, that's a sexual
I
predator
don't
right
think
there.
they are.
yeah, because PG-13 didn't exist
Until Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws was PG
Right?
and there's nudity in it.
But I remember watching
R
James.
was NC-17 basically as of like the 80s and earlier. Like nothing was rated R,
This explains
and
a lot.
PG-13 didn't
evolved.
exist. So you had PG, which was everything, and then R, which was don't fucking take your kids.
Gotcha.
yeah,
And then G.
and then G, yeah,
Which was
which is
Snow
kids
White.
only, yeah. So everything is PG.
Crazy.
Did G originally stand for Gremlins?
Yeah.
Yeah. One to hop back specifically into this film, one thing that was kind of discussed during the viewing that is now stuck in my mind is why don't the gremlins multiply in snow?
Yeah,
like-
Bret brought that
Right.
up.
We were debating
Did
that.
they not wait around the snow enough for it to melt?
And I was saying, yeah, if it's frozen, it's in a solid
I buy
state
that.
and it's not
yeah,
water.
If it's still like the powder,
And
sure.
they're like egg creatures, so they're all cold-blooded, so they're not heating up the snow.
Look at you with science.
Wait,
Wow.
do they go? Are
You just blinded me with
mammals?
science.
Are they hot? Are
They're just
Yeah.
furry lizards, I guess.
I guess.
you know what that makes? That's okay.
Do they change state? Are they warm blooded and then
Well,
they turn
Stripe
cold?
still has hair as a lizard.
That's true.
That's true.
It could just be like a
Maybe they're like
dinosaur-ish thing.
they're like feathers.
Very fine spines.
Yeah. We call it hair, but what do we know?
Yeah.
We need to talk to a high school teacher about.
I was thinking too how like it's odd. We were talking about how in Gremlins 2, there's the girl gremlin, the like
Yeah.
green girl
Yeah.
gremlin.
And that being completely insane.
in this movie, there's like one gremlin dressed up as a girl.
Yeah.
But the thing is I was thinking how like that's even weird that they would even have some sort of sex, because really, if you think about it, they're all asexual.
Right.
Yeah,
Because they don't
Yeah.
need another partner to multiply, so they're all asexual,
It's
right?
kind of
So they
like
can
the
choose
bar
their
scene.
gender.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
okay. Yeah.
There's no
All right.
reason for the gremlins to be like partying or doing anything human at all.
They learned to
Yeah.
us, didn't they?
This movie has more DNA in common with
You
Bugs.
taught them to watch TV?
Yeah, I think it's. I
Sorry.
think that whole speech at the end is.
Yeah.
But this movie has more DNA in common with Bugs Bunny than Alien. You can't
Yeah.
apply science and logic to it. It's live action Bugs Bunny.
But then it like,
With blood.
but that's like my whole point about the tonal shift is like sometimes it's Bugs Bunny and sometimes it's motherfucking Jurassic Park where she's like stabbing one of them with a knife
Or
multiple
microwaving
times.
him to death.
Yeah, the microwaving like was gnarly.
I think Omar has something to say about Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
So much to say.
Oh boy, this film like legitimately inspired and set a lot of the visual standards for Jurassic Park. Like,
it
there's, like, a
definitely
lot of
looks that
bits
way,
they pulled
doesn't it?
in.
Yeah.
It looks like it's making fun of Jurassic Park several times.
Yeah.
Forget the fact that it was like, what, 15 years before Jurassic
Yeah.
Park?
Jurassic
It
Park's
looks
in
like it's
93 or
making fun
something.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like whenever like when the gremlins like tear through the theater curtain and they're looking up, it's like the raptor at the end.
Oh,
of
and they
film.
made the raptor noise at one point.
Oh yeah, legitimately. And I don't know if they went back and I would be curious to see if they went back and put it in, or if they just made that noise.
I would bet Spielberg remembers.
Yeah, he probably was like, "That was a great noise. Let's just do that."
Yeah.
Because I know that for Jurassic Park, each of the raptors had a specific character. And like had like certain ways that they each solve problems and stuff to make them like not just monsters but like do things differently.
Interesting.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he was just like, remember those 3 gremlins? Those are them now. Like,
yeah.
I really like this thought of maybe like Spielberg goes back and watches his entire filmography. Like,
And it's like, oh no.
oh no.
and just before every new movie, he's just like, let me see what I can steal for myself.
Right. He just,
Oh, I thought you were going to say like he makes Jurassic Park, then watches Gremlins, and he goes, oh shit. Whoops.
but instead,
Well,
he, like,
I mean, it
plays
is
for-
an evolution, right? Like Jurassic Park did those scenes better. They're actually scary.
That's true. It kind of like sheds that cartoonish, and that's what's I think so crazy about Jurassic Park. It's like a lot of it is cartoonish and funny, but without you wanting to laugh.
Yeah.
And but it's like scary, but you acknowledge it's a little silly, and that makes it even worse. It's like the universe is kind of laughing at these human characters, even when we're like still terrified. It's like, oh god, that's like part of like the greater like fear of it.
And Gremlins kind of goes into the cheesy realm.
Right,
of-
Gremlins is just like, but it's funny, right?
Yeah.
Like the Flashdance.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some ridiculous stuff.
that was the scene I was talking about when I was watching this in my hotel room with Bryce, because my dad set up the whole theater system, and we're watching Gremlins, and there's that like 3 or 5 minute sequence of them just fucking around in the bar,
Yeah.
and I was like, what the hell? What happened to the plot of this movie?
It's
Like,
puppeteers just having a great
Yeah.
time.
they just
Yeah, I
threw
wonder-
everything out, and anything anybody suggested was like, it's in the movie. Let's
It
do
reminded
it.
me a lot of like some of the animator humor writing, and the puppeteers must be on the same wavelength. Because one of the things I've noticed a lot in like storyboarding and animating is people will almost confuse references as comedy just because they're in there.
Oh, yeah,
and so
yeah.
it's like so many references. And it's like
Right.
those are actually just references on screen, and like they're not too funny.
Yeah, it's not a joke. Well, I was kind of talking about this recently about I don't know how many of you guys watch the Hollywood show? You people, you gremlins. But the Hollywood show, they're like a YouTube parody channel. Yeah. So I really like their parodies, but like recently as they've progressed and gotten bigger and bigger budget, like they just did a Stranger Things parody and they literally shot on the set of Stranger Things. Like they shot on the set and they're just redoing scenes. And it gets to a point where I'm like, this is no longer parody. You're just reshooting scenes from the show. Like you're not making any commentary on it. You're
not
just
making any jokes.
Yeah, there's no jokes here. You're just literally reshooting the show because you can. Because you just wanted to, you know?
Everybody disagrees with me, but I think that's also true about Zootopia. Have I gone on this rant?
No.
Oh, man.
I'm strapped in for this.
Zootopia is a great movie. I love it. But it's, 80% of the plot is strictly the plot from Training Day.
No, it's not.
Oh,
No,
I've never seen Training Day.
Now I want to see this movie. I haven't seen Zootopia.
And
I love Training Day.
No, Training Day.
Yeah.
And not only that, but in the middle of the movie, there's an entire sequence that is Speed. And they did the whole subway scene from...
How was that Training Day, though?
What? No.
Well, he's saying and also Speed.
They're like wholesale, like taking scenes from other stuff and putting it in the movie without like any change whatsoever.
Except that they're animals.
Except that they're animals.
Yeah.
Have the King Kong ain't got shit on me scene.
Brett thinks that it's like Training Day because in Training Day, the girl almost gets raped.
There's
and then there's a similar plant and payoff.
Not an almost rape scene in Zootopia.
No. No, it's nothing.
We've come
like
a long way
Training
with
Day. This is my point.
I want to watch Training Day.
All right, Nick, you can be the decider on this.
That would be an interesting.
I'm the
Back to Back
decider.
feature. But no, that's an interesting point. Is like the general idea. Like I feel like Spaced has so many references, but the episode itself feels like it's still telling its own story.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of this thing where it's funny, and I think that Edgar Wright really benefits from having it taking American tropes and throwing them into British settings because it's such a record scratch of just like, what if British people have to deal with zombies and they're still being polite about it, and it's like, oh, it's a little bit bitey, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what's so
There's a little
funny.
bit of red on you.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like the little then you get to explore like a culture and stuff like that, or like do comparative stuff.
You have to be making some sort of commentary, for it to be parody. And that's the thing is like just doing Flashdance because it's a gremlin. That's not.
And you can throw like a dash in if you want it to be
kind
like
of funny.
Right, but it's not technically a parody.
It's an impersonation.
Yeah.
It's I gotta rip on Family Guy, but it's like Family Guy comedy where it's just like here's exactly that thing from exactly that thing, but with our characters.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I guess, because you're if you laugh at every time there's a reference, but it's not actually
like recognition can get a laugh, but it doesn't mean it's in the same way that like tickling technically isn't fun, isn't comedy. you want like if you tickle someone, it's not like you're not a comedian, you know. But you still have to. There's like joke craft and stuff involved in comedy.
Have you seen Difficult People?
Yes.
Yeah. It's clapter.
Yeah.
It's you're getting an applause because you said something everyone agrees with, and not because it's relevant or good content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's also a great guitar player, Eric Clapton.
But yeah, it is weird to see a film that's now a few decades old do these sort of pop culture references just for the sake of having them in there.
Yeah.
And just being like, you get it. Like, I feel like the Snow White thing is legitimately funny because it just reminds me of a screening with a bunch of kids.
Right.
And
And I think that is making a commentary on
it's like
that.
kids are gremlins. Like,
Yeah,
that's like
exactly.
That's the name of that scene for me.
When they were in the movie theater and it started, I assumed it would be Bugs Bunny because it's a Warner Brothers movie. But I think it's also the tone of Bugs Bunny. I keep coming back to Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny would wear, a private investigator, fedora and coat, like Bugs Bunny would dress up as various characters to get a laugh.
Yeah.
I guess
These
Bugs
Gremlins
Bunny
are very Bugs Bunny.
could get a little dark sometimes too. Like sometimes they're like trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
I guess
Rabbit
if you
season, duck season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it.
And I don't know if it's Bugs Bunny specifically, but there's some of those old cartoons that you can't see anymore because it was World War II and they did some stuff that
The old
would be
Tex Avery
extremely
cartoons,
racist right now.
Oh wow.
They did some shit before that
Yeah. Yeah.
or after.
Speaking of racist, I didn't actually think it was that bad. I was bracing myself
Yeah,
for
it's
worse.
Ancient Chinese secret, eh? Like it kind of had that thing.
But you ever actually go and hang out in Chinatown? Like Chinatown's like that.
Yeah, like that was
You're saying
kind
it's not
of
racist because it's true?
Yeah, that was that was an accurate depiction of like an underground shop in Chinatown.
and
That,
he didn't
that they
do
have weird exotic animals that you've never seen?
okay.
No, but that they try to rip off tourists with
Or
things.
it's like the white guy doesn't understand the mysticism and gets in trouble.
Well, the white guy was trying to rip them off, right? Like buy my shitty
But
bathroom
he doesn't
gadget.
believe that his inventions
Is
are
bad.
Are bad. Yeah,
Which is a glorious part of this movie. The mother trying to use all the
it's
inventions.
Yeah.
so sweet and endearing.
It's
she's
adorable.
she's trying so hard to
Nobody
be
remembers the
supportive.
mother in this movie. She's
the best.
So good.
Breakaway hit.
Yeah.
Easily the breakaway hit.
I really wish that they had ended up like I guess she did use the inventions, but I wish they used more of the inventions to kill them.
Yeah, that
in
would
the
have been a
long
nice little
run.
fold in.
Yeah.
It would have been more
Yeah.
interesting.
And that giant mixing bowl, I guess, wasn't an invention.
Yeah.
It's just
Or like imagine that fly swatter gun thing.
oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
There's like some
Bitch
good.
slaps them. To
Yeah,
death.
there's
This
some
whole
good
scene
stuff.
where he's just like going through all these
Yeah.
crazy inventions.
It
could
would
have
have
been
been
Those were
good.
some guns on the wall. Like I was hoping for those to go off at the end of the film.
Well, speaking of on the wall, there were swords. They did use the sword.
Totally paid off. That was
Yeah.
great. Well directed. We paid a lot of attention to the swords. We didn't know why they were important until later.
But I could see him like spraying toothpaste in a gremlin's face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the movie coming together a little bit more at the end, personally. But in this one, it was just kind of like they blow up the theater. And then they blow up the theater, but then it cuts to inside the theater. I was a little confused about that.
Yeah.
But then it's the department store fight,
Yeah.
which was fun.
Which also felt very Jumanji.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying. I was like, okay, great. Yeah.
Jumanji, yeah.
So if you think about like those moments in movies where like they cut to like, oh my God, this just blew my mind. I can't believe this is happening. Like those amazing movie moments. Me, age 6, I guess, when the gremlin jumps in the swimming pool.
Yep.
Like it didn't quite have the resonance this time, but me, age 6, I was like, oh my God, that was the most amazing thing.
Was that all just
That
dry
shot was
ice?
rad.
Because that, like, all of a sudden, like, so much faster than I would have expected. There's just plumes of smoke coming out of the pool, and it was quite an impressive shot.
My guess is that they had they never showed the pool entirely, the full pool. They probably had like things of air on the side of the pool that they didn't show.
You could probably fill
like-
garbage bags with a smoke machine and then just open them up.
Underwater.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, Ash is probably right in that it's dry ice because you don't
Just
want to mix.
shoveled into the pool.
Well, yeah. Well, probably in like some sort of release trapdoor or
System.
something, and then like air pockets. Like you don't want to mix an electric fog machine and water.
Yeah.
I mean, there are OSHA things that you have to.
In 84.
I could see that they just dropped like 700 pounds of dry ice into a pool. Like,
Hopefully
Yeah.
the shot works. Yeah.
Because, like, the water's bubbling anyway, so you could get away with, like, people with shovels just like, okay. And then as the camera pulls out, they're like, okay, stop.
Yeah.
And also releasing smoke separately.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Or we haven't even talked about that amazing last shot of the skeleton was probably one of the
yeah.
most cool practical
Yeah.
shots I've
I don't know
ever
how they
seen.
did it because that was a solid, rigid,
Yeah.
tactile skeleton
Yeah.
that just melted on
deflated.
screen.
Yeah.
I would love to know how that was
It
done.
was really cool.
I guess when we're now this is making me wonder because the skeleton was moving on its own accord. That means these things are like evil.
Yeah, like Chucky-esque.
Hellraiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if like a gremlin is scary, but just so you know, like the core of a gremlin is the gremlin skeleton. Like you have to worry about the gremlin skeleton. So
Yeah.
What if you
the
cut
actual threat. Like the rest of it is just like meat and like
Yeah.
skin and stuff. But the skeleton is the
The
So
creepy.
what if you cut a
part.
gremlin's head off?
it goes in the fireplace. Yeah, that's a good question.
Wouldn't the hardcore, like legitimate horror film of this be like really scary? I think it'd be really
Yeah,
cool.
I would love a
but-
remake. That's
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't though. Like I love the Bugs Bunny-ness of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be the same without that. And maybe refer to Critters as
See, I've never seen Critters.
Critters
It's
is
just like legitimate
that.
horror story.
Because Gio Dante's segment in the
Twilight
Twilight Zone movie has a really creepy Bugs Bunny and a really creepy Tasmanian Devil that are legitimately super freaky.
Interesting.
And if they were just like, do you want to do it again? And like keep all practical and everything and just go like Twilight Zone level, like horror. Like I don't want to see them like murdering people in front of my eyes and like,
Right.
I don't need it to be
But like that
garish.
kitchen scene, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
And just like, and like the jokes then get a little more sinister of like the gremlins instead of just being like, they're really scary. And then we need to get rid of a bunch of them. Like,
Yeah.
two things that just popped in my head that I just want to bring up with you guys. One, the time machine worked.
Time machine in the
A
background.
lot of people are listening to this show saying, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There was no time machine in this movie."
So,
But there was.
the dad goes to the dad who's the narrator, which is my second thing, where he's talking about the story.
Oh
that he's
yeah,
not
we have
there
to
for.
talk about
Yeah.
He
that.
completely hijacked the narrative where he's like, and that's why you weren't there, man.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what we went through.
No.
Well, it's better than what was the Danny DeVito movie where he was
Matilda.
a main character and also a narrator who was not
yeah.
supposed to be the same guy
That's
for some reason.
true.
Because as
Yeah.
a narrator, I think that's like Danny DeVito producer.
Yeah.
Matilda
Yeah.
talking.
But time machine.
Yeah. So the dad is at an
Comic-Con.
It's Comic Con.
it's really an invention.
Yeah,
con,
Adventures
but
Convention.
Yeah.
Because that exists.
He's
Yeah.
at SDCC for sure. And then he's like in a booth where there's a robot from Forbidden Planet is strolling by. Inspector Gadget is in the background
Yes.
with like in a phone booth with also the phones coming
Yeah.
out of the hat.
yeah.
And then behind them is from the Time Machine film, The Time Machine.
Yeah.
And it
The
cuts-
H.G. Wells time
the
machine.
H.G. Wells
Yeah.
Time Machine. It cuts away and then it cuts back to Comic Con and it's gone.
it's Yeah. just
Time
like a
Machine-
burn
And
mark
there's
on the
these
floor.
people like looking around on the floor, like, where did it go? So good. So good.
Whoever has the rights to Gremlins, Inspector Gadget, Forbidden Planet,
Yeah,
and
all
the
the-
Time Machine,
Snow White.
and Snow White, I say combine. Like that's the new Avengers film.
So it definitely sounds like animator humor because all that stuff's
Yeah.
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 That's true.
yeah, right. Which
Yeah.
like
Is
the
Joe
visual.
Dante an animator? Like, I'm going to look this up right now. Talk amongst yourselves.
So I feel like the dad, you bring
good
up the dad character, and like he's, besides Billy, the other horrible character in this film, who's just, again, like they try to make him this inventor, which sounds interesting, but like I wish he was more on the spectrum of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids inventor, as
Yeah.
opposed to like he's just honestly a boring dad who happens to invent things.
They
He-
could
he
have
doesn't
gotten
really
more
invent
mileage.
things.
Yeah,
he's a
that's true.
disruptor,
He
right?
just
He's more
kinda
of like let's
combines
disrupt the juice
things.
market.
Here's a box of crap, and
Yeah.
like it does nothing, and that's my job.
Yeah.
They could have gotten a lot more mileage out of funny inventions.
But also
like,
like
the orange juicer was kind of fun.
the I feel like the casting is just wrong. Like he's just not a great actor.
They needed a John Candy.
Like at the end, the
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, at the end, the skeleton jumps out of the pool, the fountain, and is like dying. And he shows up and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's got this look on his face, like, oh, okay. And then he's like, Dad, your scarf. And he's like, oh, okay, here you go. You know, like he's so nonchalant about everything that like the Chinese guy shows up in his house and he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? How you?
Yeah, just like
you know,
appears.
like no reaction to anything.
Everyone kind of freaks out. And he's like, oh, this is the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he saw something on the drive back from the gas station that he is not at liberty to discuss. We don't know what it was, but it was like another.
He got Men in Black like pen flash.
That's what it was.
The neuralizer. Yeah.
And he thought he was home the entire time. That's why he narrates the movie at the end. He's like, and if this ever happens, like, you were gone. Like, what?
Such a weird choice to make him like the narrator of the film. Like, I don't understand why you would choose that.
Because the narrator missed the point at the end. That's why. Because the gremlins weren't little mischief makers; they were murderers. And he's just like, if your toaster breaks, just look around for some gremlins.
It's so true.
But this is insane. I'm looking up. The actor is Hoyt Axton, the dad, because I was like, that name's familiar. He's somebody.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's a songwriter, but also. Like, that's like his main claim to fame. But he was also a writer on iZombie and Fringe.
What?
This
Wow.
dude is weird. Yeah.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
After this movie, like, of course he was.
Of course. Yeah.
But he doesn't have a lot of acting credits.
Well,
so.
he's not good. Yeah. Like, he's awful.
But
even when he's like in the Chinese guy's shop and he's like trying to pitch him his thing, I was like, you just sound like you're reading lines. Like, you are so bad.
he was a writer on Friends and Malcolm in the Middle.
What?
And X-Files. I'm stopping. Wow.
I feel like
weird.
there could have been a little bit more bleed over of X-Files and Malcolm in the Middle in that case.
Right. Yeah, there should have been a
Dude, what a great
crossover
mashup.
episode.
Wouldn't that
Where they're like investigating Dewey.
Yeah, he's just like telekinetic. You don't want to get doing
Mulder, have you seen this?
That's amazing. Yeah, I liked his pitch in the gas station.
Yeah, that was
It's
better.
weirdly natural because his mind is somewhere else. I think anytime he's like totally distracted by something, it either knocks out of the park or it's like a foul ball.
Yeah.
And that's the one time it knocks out of the park where he's like, "Hey, I noticed you smoke." What? I noticed you smoke. Oh, yeah, and they're like talking at each other.
I noticed these cigarettes here. The broken ashtray.
Is the ashtray actually broken or is it just dirty as fuck?
Yeah, what does that even mean?
What's a broken
ashtray? Like, unless it's broken in half, literally anything can be an ashtray
It had
if
a
you can put
door
a
on it.
cigarette. Oh, to like
He
prevent the
wiggled it. I
smell.
saw it. Yeah.
There's a okay.
It was the one he had was supposed to be a smokeless ashtray.
Gotcha.
What is a smokeless ashtray?
It's got a lid.
So
So it like snuffs out the.
just a lid on an ashtray.
Yeah, you just put like
Yeah.
a little smoke it and forget it. Yeah. Also, smoking in a gas station not recommended.
Yeah,
I would really like to just point out that
good point.
scene
Good
happened.
point.
Although they did do the right thing when the guy was going to drive his tractor home drunk.
yes,
They talked him into
Yeah,
walking
he was
home.
going to drive his tractor home.
drunk.
I guess it was a snowplow. I'm just making the point.
true.
Aside from being drunk, he was about to drive a tractor.
Yeah.
Or snow. If it's a snowplow, I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
And then
But yeah,
he
there was a
walked
minute
home.
where they were like, they seemed to be totally cool with him driving.
Yeah,
that.
they're like, oh, wait.
Wait, right. I forgot. You'll kill people.
You're
Get out.
drunk.
Yeah.
Well, I think the girl was like, maybe he should walk home, and then he's like, nah, I'm good. And then like, I think he couldn't start the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Having,
then he blamed the Gremlins.
Yeah, the girl
Yeah.
was.
having been in that situation, it is not so easy to convince somebody to walk home.
Oh yeah, we have been in that
Yeah.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awkward.
So yeah, this movie had like the worst main character.
Yes.
You know, what if this movie, like, let's get rid of the main character we have, but instead Corey Feldman is the main character?
I'm yes.
Yeah, he needed to be in this more.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like they set him up in the beginning and it was like, cool, this is the little kid that's gonna help him out.
Yeah.
Like, we love the little kids in the 80 films. Like, they're awesome. And then he just like disappears.
Yeah, he was like an extra.
Do you think
almost.
this was
Yeah.
written with Corey Feldman's character and they thought, oh, we don't have a romance here? And they did that to make
my
that happen.
God.
'Cause
Maybe.
they always gotta have a stupid romance.
Because I don't know
like
how
this.
you go from like that scene where he asked her out. Like he went from bombing hardcore to, hey, you want to go out? Okay. Like it's switched on the dime there.
The Corey thing also fits with some of the other scenes, like the Disney movie at the theater and the toy store.
And the dog.
Yeah.
And
The dog that just disappears halfway through
Did they
the
just
movie.
find out how much a studio teacher would cost? And then they were just like, we were going to get you for 2 days.
Yeah.
It would have been such
And they
a
like
better movie.
already signed Corey. So they were like,
Corey's
well, we'll
attached,
shoehorn
so
him
we're
in a
gonna
little.
just
Yeah.
Trim it down. And we're also going to, another kid's going to play you when you're in the tree.
Because, we've talked about the
Right.
best movies
Best
from this
part.
era were told from the perspective of the kid.
Yeah.
It should have been one of those.
And then I wouldn't have been as angry. Like if a little kid like fed them after midnight
Right.
or like got them wet, I would have been like,
Or
well,
lives in his parents'
it's a little
attic.
kid. Yeah.
Or why did the dad come home with the pet and give it to the 20-something?
22-year-old
Yeah.
son where he's like, hey, I got you a little special thing here, Tiger.
Yeah.
Now go to the bar and drink alcohol, which you can do legally now.
Right.
Yeah. Just don't pour any on the Mogwai.
Yeah, that was like, and also it's like when you learn responsibility, hit me back up is like the conclusion of this film, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude,
Is
get
that
it together now.
is that what happens in so like Gremlins 2, he like gets responsible again, he gets Gizmo back, and then he
I
gets
do not
unresponsible.
remember
And then
how-
the Chinese guy shows up again, he's like, motherfucker, I told you.
Legit, I might be going crazy, but I think the owner or like the original like shop guy gets killed in the beginning of Gremlins 2.
Whoa.
And then I think if I'm
So he
wrong,
just, like,
I'm pitching
inherits-
a weird movie.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure like,
I don't
Gizmo
know that
goes
it's
to
much
find Billy.
weirder than what we just saw.
But I remember like him getting like killed, and I was like, "Why did you do that?"
There is a movie where Chevy Chase plays a dog who joins the police force and does karate.
What?
Like legitimately, this is a thing, and
Does
that's
he-
how it starts.
I might have been mistaken with that film.
Yeah, like
Wow.
the owner gets killed, or something like that.
Wait, it's not like plays a dog like he's in a costume.
we're gonna ask Google about this.
What's the movie where Chevy Chase plays a dog and joins the police and does karate?
And he has friendship for everyone.
Karate Dog?
Karate dog.
Why did we like? What were we
Wow.
expecting? Like,
I know.
Bridge over River Kwai. Like,
Thanks, Google.
of course it's Karate Dog.
Of course.
What were the two big takeaways? Like,
It was either karate dog or police dog. Come on.
let's
Yeah.
not overthink this. Like Steel Magnolias too. No, it's definitely Karate Dog.
Airbud? Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, wonderful movie. So many people die, and like I think that it's interesting to see the non-Spielberg adjacent films, because the
Yeah.
difference is like I think Spielberg really, like I noticed this in Jurassic World, a lot of people died that I didn't feel should have died. Whereas in Jurassic Park, every time someone gets hurt, I'm like, it's because the universe is like, you were greedy, so you shouldn't do that.
Oh,
Or you're
interesting.
mean to kids, you shouldn't do that, or whatever. Whereas,
They're all set in Hill Valley.
and they're all set in Hill Valley. Yeah. Oh yeah, all the non-Steven Spielberg movies
Yeah.
that are under the Spielberg umbrella are all Hill Valley.
Oh, I've got this town square.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely the same town square
Yeah.
in the Universal backlot for sure.
But like so many people died, and they're like mass hysteria. It's like there's bodies in the street. We
Yeah.
saw them. 2 cops,
Yeah.
1 woman, a prominent business
The
owner.
guy who they cut before it happened, but I'm convinced got his arm ripped off in a mailbox.
with
Oh,
the
yeah.
priest
Oh,
watching,
yeah.
Yeah.
who I think was
Through-
complicit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
No,
"This is
no.
weird. You give it a shot.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
go
to be
ahead.
fair, he deals in the realm of God, not Satan. So
That's true.
He should be able to exorcise the demons, though.
You're saying gremlins are not God's creatures?
Whoa, that's a hot take.
I mean, their skeletons move without a body, so let you decide.
In the game of Diablo, you're correct.
Yeah,
Exactly.
necromancer. Like, unless there's some hidden necromancer.
I
that's
mean,
some
they
demons.
seem like they're aliens, don't they? They seem like they're some sort of alien.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that, but I didn't want to think too far down that line. But like,
It does seem like
Did he just appear in a total eclipse of the sun one day? Like,
Yeah.
where did these things come from?
because, like, I mean, I don't know if it was intentional, but the egg things looked very alien-like.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, it had to have been intentional. That visual is too close to what
With
you
the
see in
green
Alien.
It's
light
like on the
inside.
poster or the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love his, like, at the end, he's like, you guys didn't take care of my Mogwai, and you should learn responsibility. Just like freaking everything you guys do. It's like the sassiest ending where he's like, I'm taking this. Honestly, I'm going to take your house. Like, I'm going to natural gas. I'm taking that away from you too. You guys are running amok.
You don't
he
know
was just
what
like,
you're doing.
Fucking white people.
That's legitimately
But
how the movie ends. He's like, I'm tired of this shit. And he fucking marches off into the sunrise. He's like done with in the cold. Like, he doesn't even care.
But
So
also,
good.
he's standing there saying, "This is the way it is. Your culture destroys natural things." And I'm thinking, where do you live, dude? You are part of this culture. Like, you're here. He didn't go to China.
And even if, and I don't want to make too big of a statement here, but also if he is from mainland China, also screw you too, buddy.
Who else? Who else takes
you
natural
definitely,
resources?
man. Like-
Yeah.
Pretty sure you're contributing to pollution.
you have no grounds to stand on.
That was great. There was a moment there where you're like forming your thought, and I thought, like, this is the moment where the podcast becomes racist. And Chinese people.
Oh no.
Like, unless he's like Nanook from Nanook of the North, I don't really want to take umbrage from him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a little bit like I don't. He's from like a neon palace. Like when we first like.
Oh
see,
yeah.
You think that are those all solar panels? And if so, how did you make the solar panel? Like, where are you sourcing the energy from?
Yeah.
You know, he's not in the woods. Like, don't point a finger at us.
You ain't
man.
no Winnebago man.
You caged this thing. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Left it under a heap.
Like, is there some lost island somewhere where the forests are filled with Mogwai?
Well, yeah. See,
and they can't leave.
yeah.
they're either aliens.
Gremlins 3, Mogwai Island.
They're either aliens or this really is a movie about like the illegal animal trade.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which would mean he's destroying
It's
nature.
obviously an endangered animal, like
It
in a
has
box.
to be an alien. That a creature cannot exist on a planet that is 70% water.
And daylight, if it can't survive
yeah.
in the daylight, like
That's
what
a good
is
point.
what is it
I mean,
going to
there
do?
are nocturnal animals, but they don't die from sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a,
Well,
like a
maybe there are
vampire.
some.
But like the freaking like nobody in this movie treats the Mogwai great. Like
No.
even he
No.
like keeps it locked in this little box in a corner under a
Billy
blanket
treats
or
it
whatever.
pretty great. He's
Does he?
irresponsible.
Whoa, hold
He
on. It
brought
was
it.
seizing on his desk.
And he didn't give a fuck. And then he brings it to his science teacher and he's like, "Hey, watch this," and does it again.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why would you
In
intentionally
all
drop
fairness,
blood on?
Billy's only 22 or 23.
Wow.
Like he's
And
only,
he does live at home, so clearly
Yeah.
not the sharpest tool in the shed.
I don't think it would take anything. I think they really wanted that bar scene because you
Yeah.
could so easily just pull it back and be like, he's in high school, and this is like he just has a job.
They just wanted the bar for some. Like, I feel like the movie may have even started with like somebody throughout this bar scene, and it's like they built the whole thing around it
Yeah.
and like had her work at the bar just so that it would.
So can't we just cut it? No, Craig loves the bar scene. You can't cut the bar scene.
They could have had that scene while still having Corey Feldman as the main character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and the
could have been
way
like
they
his
could have
mom
done
or
that is
something.
by giving Corey Feldman a brother, which he had. Like,
He's not. He's
they're
not
not
his
brothers,
brother.
but-
what the fuck was that then? Or
Just some
They're
kid
just-
who walks in his house.
He showed up and he said, "I'm delivering your Christmas tree."
Yeah.
He's the son of
he
the
was
Christmas tree
delivering
plot
I
guy.
thought he was just like.
and he loves comic books.
No, he brings in the Christmas tree and he's like, "Hey, I got your Christmas tree. I'm delivering your Christmas tree." And then he's like, he takes off the Christmas outfit, and the other guy's like, "What are you gonna do with that?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'll just tell my dad some guys like stole it from me on the
Hold
way
on.
home."
He delivered the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
We later see that Christmas tree. It's taller than the mom.
Yeah. So that poor little kid.
Yeah,
What?
thank-
Child labor.
Yeah.
He just dragged that through the streets. per house.
Yep. Maybe his dad was like out there with the truck and he just has to walk
that
it
would
in.
be great. That I have to believe that.
You guys seize on some details.
We're having some
Like
issues here.
nitpick on some details.
Also, I just remembered this. This is my favorite part of this story. Does Billy ever publish his comic?
Oh no, yeah.
No.
That's
Maybe
kinda
in
right.
Gremlins too.
No, I don't think.
I don't think he has
back.
anything
I
to
don't
do
remember.
with comics in the second movie.
He abandoned that dream, even though he has paintbrushes and stuff.
Well, because he had an alien.
I think he was just like, you know what?
How do you move on?
I really have to just get a job at a TV station. I just have to get something stable.
Like I expected the dad to be like, these things multiply. Let's sell them. You know, I was expecting something like that to
He
come
did.
into play.
He was talking about it.
Was he?
Yeah,
But
he
then
might
he
have been
left for
cracking wise
Comic-Con.
about something else.
Well, I heard
But he
him
said
say
it.
like every kid, but he never
Yeah.
like
He
took
never
any
makes
action.
good on it. Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
no, I got to put toothpaste
Yeah,
in this thing again. And
Sorry.
you have to shave.
I have to fix this shaving cream.
That's perfect for that character, honestly.
yeah, it would have been.
Golden opportunity.
Yeah, and he's just like, huh.
Like the movie should end with someone being like, "Hey, I'm gonna make this thing called Starbucks. You want in?" He's like, "No."
What TV show is it or movie where they end and they're like, should I invest in this little company called Apple?
That was
No.
Forrest Gump.
Was it Forrest?
Yeah, he made a bunch of money from
Or
some
Yahoo or
fruit
whatever.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be Apple.
No.
He had the letter in the mailbox, and he was telling the story. It's like something like, Lieutenant Dan told me to buy stock in some fruit company.
No, I'm not thinking of that one, but that is close. No, he doesn't. He chooses between Apple and something else. He's like, we're gonna be rich, and
There was a commercial
that
where
sounds
someone
like-
was like, "This is a latte. Do you want to invest in the company?" And then he made a decision not to. And it was like, "You can't go back and do this. So buy this car." I don't remember which car maker it was, but there's something
What
like
you're describing sounds like a National Lampoon movie. Like that totally sounds like something that would happen in that
Hot
movie.
Tub Time Machine.
it might have been. I don't know. It might have. For
God,
some
that
reason,
movie
I'm
was so
thinking
good.
like
Hot to Time Machine.
Oh, yeah.
Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. That sounds like a pretty Kimmy Schmidt joke.
There was a legitimate guy in Apple before they became big who
Oh,
Yeah,
cashed
the
out.
third
yeah,
guy.
Yeah.
that poor guy who apparently now is really poor and everything.
Silicon Valley.
So is that the new theme song for the next season? So should we wrap it up?
Yeah, what are our final thoughts on this? So, Ash, what did you think?
I think it's a fun movie with some
Romp.
a fun romp with some amazing effects. But it's not my favorite movie. I think it was okay.
This isn't your favorite?
I wish I don't find that I really attach with anybody except for the awesome mom who's in it for 5 minutes.
What if we did a cut? What if we edited it down and
Just
it
the mom
ended
scenes?
at the end of that?
Where she just murders them all.
Yeah, you cut Stripe out of the movie.
Yeah.
So it ends up that when Billy comes in with the sword, that's the last one, and that's the end of the movie. And then it's a movie about the mom.
It'd be very short.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It also sounds like it could be a really good Rick and Morty episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay. I don't have a lot to say, but yeah.
For me, I think it was probably about what I expected. It's has a few flaws. It's not a masterpiece, but it's definitely that awesome, fun, hilarious gonzo thing that I remember from my childhood. The swimming pool thing had so much more resonance as a child, and I don't know if it's time passed or it never was as phenomenal of a scene as I remember.
agree with you about that. I remember as a
That
kid,
hit you
was
hard?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's that thing we always talk about with rules, where that's the perfect scenario where they set up rules and they pay off rules with a fantastic scene. So yeah, I think that's great. I just, everybody's talking about a version of this movie that would be better. And I think the one where you just cut out Billy and it's Corey Feldman.
I think that would be
totally
great.
agree.
Then
Yeah.
we got a great.
I do
And
agree.
it's kind of like Goonies, where nobody believes the kids, and like all this weird shit.
And you could
keeps
put in
happening.
another little kid if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then there could be even more funny, like, things about the fact that this kid is doing things that kids normally don't do. Like, maybe he has to drive, you know? Or
Are we talking about Stranger Things?
spoilers.
Like, it's pretty
this is
close.
why Stranger Things is great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
Well, I'm pretty, like, I was even thinking the two cops in this film remind me of the two cops in Stranger Things that
Oh
are
my
always
gosh.
haggling and making fun of, like, the people who come in and report things. And they're
Yeah.
like,
Not
you
the
know,
chief, but the other two guys.
the other two guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they totally reminded me
Oh
of.
my gosh.
Is the other
Right?
two
Yeah.
guys like a trope though? Like, because
That's the thing I wasn't
Hot Fuzz
sure.
has that.
Yeah, I
a little
wasn't
bit.
sure if it's, like, become a trope or if it was, like, specifically from this film.
But Stranger Things, because clearly this is a podcast about Stranger Things. Like, Stranger Things is TV or movie tropes, the series.
Yeah.
And that's
totally.
okay.
So,
But I think it adds to it. It's not like what Ash was saying, where it's a straight like rip off of references. I
Right.
think it adds its own commentary and makes it modern
Yeah.
again.
And it's also because we're gonna talk about Stranger Things real quick. I was trying to get my mom to watch season 1, and I started it, and she was like, "Wait, does the kid go missing?" And so, spoiler if you haven't seen episode 1 of season 1, but she's like, "Does the kid go missing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Do they relieve that in the first 2 episodes?" And I was like, "No, it's like the main thing." And she's like, "I can't watch this. This is my nightmare." She's like, this is my nightmare. I lived this nightmare for 25 years of like being worried that this would happen to one of you guys. And so that's when I realized that this show has the face of it is the kids, but it's the story of two parents, two separate
totally.
parents,
Yep.
and that's like the organic story where you're just like, I can't get enough of Hopper. You know,
yeah,
like-
absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's like this great source. But then there's all this sprinkled reference stuff that we're like, Ghostbusters.
With that, well, fascinating if you go back and watch My So-Called Life Today. It is a show about the parents.
What?
It's a completely different show from what you saw as a teenager.
Now I have to go back and watch this.
And it's pretty good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Our generation's Siddhartha. My so-called life.
Yeah. So yeah, I loved it. What do you think, Brett?
I feel like kind of like Ash does. I want the mom focused horror movie. Yeah. But in it,
It was the best part.
I think one of the things about this movie that I think you and I disagree on is I think this would have been a much better movie if the Gremlins had much less screen time.
Yeah. And it was more like building up the suspense about
Like if you removed all of the jokes of the Gremlins and just had the like slightly like love to murder Gremlins and left out the movie theater scene and left out the bar scene and
more like the scene when he goes to his teacher and his teacher's like knocked out
Yeah.
and you don't quite see the
like
gremlin.
we were
You
heading in
see
a
it
cool
like
direction there.
So you want Hitchcock's Gremlins.
I kind of
Yeah.
do. But there's this element from the mom kitchen scene that is, you know, Stranger Things, just everything about Eleven's arc in the first season, or weirdly the same feeling from when I watched The Life Aquatic and Bill Murray has the get off my boat scene. Like there's just that moment where it's just like fucking finally like they're standing up for themselves. That was the mom scene where it's just like there's shit going wrong here and everyone's kind of ignoring it and like now she's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill these things. And
fucking hate these things in my house.
And she was like on point from the get. Like she saw something was wrong. She had a knife in her hand.
She heard a noise upstairs and was like, it's
I
dead.
just want to talk. It's a knife. Yeah.
So I think much the same as I do about that Shyamalan devil movie. You guys ever see that?
Devil, the elevator devil.
Yeah.
No,
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't.
he didn't direct it though, but it's
This is a movie that is better with content removed.
maybe.
And for Devil, it's if Devil didn't have any of the narration,
There's narration.
Oh my god, yeah. The movie opens with like a 4-minute monologue about exactly what happens throughout the rest of the movie and declaring, like, saying who the bad guy is.
I quit.
Yeah.
And it's just like the whole cool part of the movie was figuring out who the bad guy was.
Yeah.
And he's like, just so you know, in the beginning, this is actually a movie about demons, and the devil is actually the bad guy in this film. And it's just like, well, great. Now there's 4 people in the elevator, but we already know is the fucking demon. So like, the rest of the movie is really boring. Anyway, Devil was almost a really good movie.
Now I'm gonna have to watch this movie.
Did you like skip to a different podcast episode?
I did. But no, it was like this, where like it was almost a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
But they couldn't choose if they wanted the really cool like monster slasher horror flick, or if they wanted a goofy, zany, like almost a kids movie, but people kept dying kind of movie. Like, it was a weird vibe, and together they didn't quite work in the way that I enjoyed.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay, Nick. You can still like it.
So Sam, having never seen this, first, is it a Christmas movie? Oh, did we?
We
already-
did.
already did that.
Yes, I think it is a Christmas movie.
So therefore,
So what do you think?
I'm on your side. I really like it. I think the serious scenes balance out the zany scenes, and it creates this really fun tone that makes it rewatchable. And considering kind of their audience and the time that I'm guessing that this was released, I think they walked a delicate line that works. I like it. It's funny. It's silly. Yeah.
nice.
All right.
Nice. All right. What do you think, Omar?
We discussed it a little bit before, so I'm glad to close out on this in terms of my opinion. I think this is a perfect put on in the background in a bar.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
The visuals of this movie are so extraordinary.
But just the bar scene.
Especially
But just the bar
bar
scene on
scene.
repeat.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, in fact, just stills, but on a slideshow. Like, we don't need to go through the story. No, like, I think the glimpses into the story without having to sit in the dialogue and be like, what's Billy's whole thing again? Like,
Yeah.
just getting to see stuff happen
okay,
is
I
so
gotcha.
cool. And there's so many, it's like, I feel like this movie is a bit like waking up after like drinking a lot of eggnog and being like, what happened? But like, it was fun. And like, everyone's for the most part safe.
Yeah.
And so I
Except for
think
the dead people.
yeah, except for the people launched out of windows.
But she deserved it.
Yeah, because she was mad at a dog that was a little violent. So yeah, I would say that this is, and that's not most, I wouldn't say most movies work that way. Like, I don't want to throw most movies on in the background of a bar. I think they might distract or they wouldn't be interesting at all. This is like a perfect, like every so often you look up and you're like, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
that scene. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
By the way, you would love Tiki Bar in Ventura has Magnum Mondays, just plays Magnum PI, and sometimes
Oh, yeah.
1960s Batman on
and this
the
is
TVs.
on Mondays?
Yeah.
Great. I'll see
At
you
a
guys
Tiki Bar. It's pretty
next
awesome.
week. That
Yeah.
sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Because who really wants to watch actual Magnum PI stories?
Right.
Yeah.
They just want to see a guy
But I
with a
want to
mustache
see
driving through
Yeah,
Hawaii.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have this drink. Was it what's it called?
Oh, the hurricane where
The
they have the
hur-
storm that happens?
Yeah,
in
like
the
a
bar?
storm happens in the bar.
Well, that's probably a Tiki Bar thing.
Yeah,
across
just
the
in
globe.
general.
Yeah.
But when they happen on the same night, it's pretty great.
Yeah. Cool. So, sorry, I kind of cut you off with that. but-
I'm now daydreaming ahead of
Yeah.
going to the
Check
tiki
that
bar.
out.
That sounds great. But yeah, exactly. Kind of like an old Batman sort of thing where it's like I would watch this 100 times if it was in the background and I was hanging out with friends.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So that is Gremlins. Omar, tell us about the web series you have cooking.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I don't know exactly how much to say because I don't know how much will change by the time this actually happens.
That's
But-
okay. We're like that all the time.
Great. I'm working on a series with my friend James Brent Isaacs. That's very exciting, and we have some.
Oh,
amazing...
James.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
James on Instagram, spelled some way with several Jameses and several A's. And I'm very excited about it. It's going to be, we have some amazing producers and some really awesome cast folk involved. And It'll be.
And what is the thing?
I don't know if I can say the plot because we might be pitching it around a little bit. But it's very cheeky and fun, and will involve a lot of characters that I think everyone loves, and interesting takes on those characters.
So this is a very veiled
this is
bit
a
of information.
launch. Yeah.
So we're going to have to talk about it here on the show after the thing is a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And there might be a few movies that are from our childhood that are perfect for this series.
Awesome.
Okay.
That are right on the money.
Yeah, because
Some maybe starring Macaulay Culkin.
We were supposed to have. James was going to do a Let's Drink once, and then like things fell through with our schedule and whatnot. So maybe we can have you both
stole
back.
him, just so you know.
Yeah, there you go.
He was about to leave to head over, and I was like, "No, you have to write." I'm just kidding.
But maybe you guys can both come back. And
That would
do
be
the podcast.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I would love to be back. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of
for this
course.
Gremlins.
Thank
It's been
you.
a freaking blast.
So, that's the end of the show. If you like the podcast, this is part of the Laugh TV network of content. We got this and a YouTube channel with a drinking show, cooking show, video game parodies, and lots of other fun stuff.
Lots of stuff. Yeah, and you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Laughs-TV, or you can follow this specific podcast at Let's Rewatch, where we do stuff like movie polls. So you guys chose Gremlins, or we also do things where I'll tweet. If we don't do a poll for the movie, I'll tweet a screenshot, and then you guys can guess what movie we're watching. So that's fun too. But also, I wanted to say, side note, we just started a Facebook group. So
join the Facebook group.
it's I made it a couple weeks ago, and I think there's already several members.
2 months ago, by the time this
Yeah, by the time you hear this, sorry. Surprise, it's not really Christmas. And so, fourth wall broken.
I'm making a movie like that. The movie's going to be called Surprise, It's Not Really Christmas.
Christmas.
I don't know what
Is
the
that
story
a
is
porno?
yet.
The story is that girl's backstory.
Oh no! Whoa!
Anyway,
Dark.
but we made a Facebook group that it's called, oh gosh, I think it's just called Let's Rewatch Podcast. But it's a Facebook group where you guys can now join, and you can talk to each other, you can talk to us, and we can have longer conversations than just Twitter conversations that, you know, are often limited to.
Although you can now have a lot longer Twitter conversations.
Yeah, double up.
Oh yeah. But it's called Let's Rewatch Podcast, and it is a closed group so that we don't have a bunch of weirdos. So just send a request and I will accept you.
A
Don't
request in your resume.
worry. Your resume. Send
to
a
answer a
request
quiz on
and
our
you have to tell
podcast.
us Nick's favorite movie of all time. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have
Oh
to.
shit! I don't know if I can do
Really?
Alien?
We just yes.
No, incorrect.
that. Yeah, I was like,
You've said that about Alien
No,
on this podcast.
I've said Alien is the perfect movie.
Oh.
It's not my favorite movie.
Oh, well, shit.
shit.
Then
What
I'm
is
out of the
it?
group.
Oh,
you
you're
know
out.
yours.
Yeah. What's yours?
Almost Famous.
Oh, that's
Hits
right.
me right in the
I
heart,
did know
man.
that.
Yeah.
My next guess was going to be Princess Bride.
Oh,
It's
well,
up
that's
there.
yours, right?
Almost Famous is a
Mm-hmm.
little too new for this show, but
Yeah.
man, that's, yeah.
I've never seen it.
Mine's Jurassic Park, Omar. So I
Oh,
appreciate
great.
all the Jurassic Park
Wonderful.
references you made. But yeah, so join the group and you can talk to us, and feel free to post your own stuff in the group too. Like you can start conversations. Don't be shy. If there's fun movie stuff that you find that relates to things that we've watched, or just things that you think us or other members would like, then feel free. We're trying to open the discussion more for y'all.
And if you liked our podcast, please give us a review on Google Play or iTunes. Or if you have constructive feedback for us, let us know, preferably on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
Don't leave that on a review.
No, yeah. You can also email us. I mean, that one person emailed us once, but it's letsrewatch@gmail.com if you want to email us stuff.
Omar, do you have a Twitter or something
yes.
to leave us
Yeah,
with?
absolutely. If you want to discuss more of your favorite pop culture references in the film Gremlins, you can find me on Twitter at Omar Najam and on Instagram at Omar Najam Film. OmarNajam. And then just add the word film, FILM, on Instagram.
Awesome. And make sure your podcast feed is up to date. We'll do this again in another 2 weeks for another episode of Let's Rewatch.
Yeah, next time we're going to be watching The Corn is Green.
Is this like a green eggs and ham type thing?
Yeah, how can you have a movie about green corn in black and white?